Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Nico Maki here. And right now I have the Dragon Ball Fighters patch that's dropping out tomorrow. And I was going to make this video a lot sooner, but since now we have the collective aftermath of what people think of the patch, I have some thoughts on my own that I want to share with you. I'm not going to go over the entire patch, but I will note out some big things and kind of summarize what's going to happen here. So first of all, they're going to do some fixes for the game and add some new features, which are these two, which is the Fighters Cup, which is kind of like this monthly competition that helps your Z Union, which is kind of useless, and this party battle that helps you defeat bosses, which sounds kind of cool. They're also fixing some stuff on the replay and combo challenges, and they're doing some adjustments in training mode, how like certain things don't like function properly when you set it to certain to certain settings, like this training mode. Training dummy doesn't unguard properly when enemies set to guard first only, stuff like that to make the training mode more clean. But in terms of real gameplay, there isn't that many huge things like that are so much like game breaking. They just kind of fixed a few glitches and things that weren't intended in the game, I feel. Such like Goku right here, where the Kamehameha Super would display still on the screen during like an opponent's super attack and stuff like that. They did fix some stuff that does help a few characters out, like Goku Blue, or excuse me, Vegeta Blue, that are kind of unclear on how they work. For example, if I can find it, right here. So as you see, the Vegeta on a scale of 1 to 10, which is the command throw. So it's easier to now grab an opponent and follow up with Z assists. So some people thinking that this is kind of the way that he's going to be able to combo off of his command throw by himself, which it could be the case. It may not be the case. Some of it's kind of unclear. But we're going to talk about the misinterpretations in a little bit. Same thing with Krillin too, right? So Krillin has a weird kind of wording to his change, but we'll talk about that in a second. But the big things that did change that you should keep in mind of is for Android 16, right? Android 16 now, which is the big thing about his gameplay, is that he gets hard knocked off of command throw. And it makes him very dangerous, even though he has amazing normals, possibly one of the best normals in the game, which is 5L. But he also had hard knockdown, so his mix-up was the best in the game, pretty much, by himself, of course. So people would use him as anchor, or they would do a combo with a character that doesn't have a strong mix-up and then bring him in on the way halfway through the combo. So now you'll be able to recover from 16's command throw, which is called the Dynamite Driver, which is pretty big. And then they also remove invincibility on his range attacks, which are the heavies. So that's kind of interesting, too, that they did that. Another big change was Vegeta, which we're not entirely sure how it's going to affect the game, but it says reduce the duration of block stun for Vegeta's Super Saiyan Z assist. So basically, the God assist that everybody uses because it's just way too good, and it is kind of broken in my belief. I use him too just because of that assist. I honestly don't like the character, but the assist is just way too good. Another big thing, which is kind of funny how they're all linked together here. Gohan. The big idea or the big change was during his heavy machine gun kicks, and now it's more negative on block, or reduce the frame advantage, which is the proper term. So we're not sure how that's going to affect it, but I'm sure he won't be able to reset his pressure in the corner, especially with heavy machine gun punches or EX machine gun kicks, excuse me. So that's kind of a big change to him. So even though I do think he's probably going to be top 5 still, that does hurt him a lot for his repressure, which is kind of ridiculous, to be honest. I do think it's kind of OD. Oh, also, I almost glanced over it. His air ultimate back attack, which is the EX version, gave you hard knockdown, similar to 16's command throw. So now that is also being taken away from him. So now it's not really this kind of 4-way mix-up that's kind of broken, in my opinion. That's also pretty good. Next one, Kid Buu. Kid Buu got the very tail end of the nerfs. Basically, they're making it so the Candy Beam, super ridiculous touch of death combos don't exist anymore. Is what this is. Was what I'm and a lot of people are interpreting it to be, which is pretty good. But then again, we continue on. There, most of these are just, you see, fix an issue, just kind of how things are not supposed to work in the game, or not intended in the game. Now, here's the big one that people are complaining about is Cell, right? So Cell got this fix, which basically his command throw would hit from behind the opponent, which is Obviously, kind of not supposed to happen, which is good that they fixed that. But people were complaining that it didn't really get a big nerf to Cell. But to be honest, the only real thing that got nerfed was Android 16. Like I said before, Gohan I think is gonna be top 5 just because he doesn't have repressure with EX machine gun punches. He still has a DP. His neutrals are still really good. He has a beam. He has a good key blast. He has good damage. All his level ups are the same, so you're gonna continue to get good level ups, which is basically all you need is level 1. His mix up is still godlike. The only real big thing in the game is Android 16. If you're gonna drop a dog Gohan just because he has less pressure by himself, I don't know what to tell you, but it's not that big of a deal. Also, Gotenks got a slight change, which is kind of a bug. I'm pretty sure everybody thought that was a bug, which is his Z assist would forcibly bring characters back to the ground from grounded state, which is kind of the Cell mix-ups that Sonic Fox have been using. So, I mean, the problem with Cell, right, that people are not thinking about is what part of that character would you want to nerf? Besides maybe meter gain, I would say. Meter gain and the damage is kind of high. Besides that, there isn't any, he can't reset his pressure by himself. There isn't any like infinite block stun kind of nonsense. His mix-ups are basically all reliant on him having good assists, So, and people are kind of seeing this in a weird way. Like, this isn't really a season 2 per se. This is more of them trying to fix some things that they fear are a big necessary change in the game. And there's not that many gameplay changes. There is some, but a lot of it is just very minor. It's very minor besides 16. And I'm pretty sure 16 is quite toxic for the game. And they didn't want that to happen. They also fixed some stuff with the game that's pretty big in the system mechanics and how things work. For example, this last note here, which is kind of like an effect that Vegeta had, where if, like, during Vegeta's neutral, when he jumps up and does jump S, and he's able to DP you even though you chase him with Super Dash. That's what this kind of changes catering towards, But again, there are changes to the game, but nothing huge, nothing that's gonna really shake up the meta. The characters are still gonna be pretty much the same besides 16, So I think people need to look at it in a way of that this isn't a season 2, and this is just them trying to do some damage control to what they might have messed up in the game initially. Also, like I was saying before, that some of the changes don't make sense or they read improperly. I'm gonna put this link in the description. Shouts to my boy Great Fern Man. Since he can read Japanese, he read the Japanese notes of the game. So this is a thread talking about how certain things from the Japanese list to the American list don't make sense because Bandai's translation team is kind of bad. I have experience with this because I also play the card game. So some of the changes don't make sense. So I'm going to leave this in the link below if you're curious to see what things actually are translated differently from the Japanese list to the English list. But that's pretty much it for me. I think people need to stop being so negative about this change list and just see it as damage control. This isn't season 2. This is just them fixing stuff. I'm sure Cell will get adjusted later on in the game if they find that necessary. Characters are still pretty good. Cell. Krillin's still gonna be whack, and Android 16 is the only big change. So get over it. The game will change over time. I'm pretty sure that they will make a big change list probably at the end of the year or after Evo. So just sit tight and don't worry about it too much. Stay playing your characters unless you feel really bad about them. Then think of something else. But that's it for me. I'll see you guys later.